More than half of caregivers end up with poor well-being. It's true. We're talking about why getting older makes you less certain instead of being more confident about things. And this begins to explain why getting older makes you feel less certain instead of more confident. As you're not weak, not broken, not failing, just carrying too much. And that might be you. You see, there's an invisible load. You provide, you support, you solve problems, you stay available. Everyone relies on you. Few ask, how are you? I'm a best-selling author, I'm a middle-aged man, and I'm looking into the research now before my thoughts on the topic and takeaway comes later before the bonus. The research said there's a modern trap. Most men fear being unnecessary, so you become indispensable. The problem? Well, research shows that carrying too much responsibility comes at a cost. In the first study, researchers studied family caregivers in Italy. And what happened? Well, there was more burden, less well-being, more stress, more fatigue, more insecurity, and more relationship issues. Ultimately, there was less well-being. The shocking finding of 55.9% scored below that well-being cutoff. More than half, that is. Now think about that for a second. Well, the threshold for the researchers found a tipping point. Not burnout, before burnout. Once burden reached roughly the midpoint on their scale, well-being dropped significantly. They found that what men miss is the damage isn't always dramatic. It's gradual. Less energy, less patience, less enthusiasm, and more obligations. In a second study, researchers in Hong Kong studied 2,258 older adults. They wanted to know what predicts poor mental health. They found an unexpected enemy of loneliness, not weakness, loneliness. People reporting more loneliness were much more likely to have poor mental health. But it wasn't just that. There was another enemy, uncertainty, worrying about the future, fear of the unknown. Researchers found loneliness increases uncertainty, and uncertainty helps drive poor mental health too. There's a hidden connection. Responsibility grows, relationships shrink, free time disappears, isolation increases, and uncertainty grows. Well-being then fails. In the research, they found what hurts most is isolation, loneliness, and fear of the future. But they also found what helped most. That was family, friends, peace of mind, hobbies, not success, not even status, human connection. The bigger lesson was that both studies found that there was a similar pattern. Burden harms and connection protects. But there's solutions. So what are they? It's about protecting your time. As a man, you need to take that responsibility of time for yourself back. And in doing so, you need to schedule recovery. Often we go full bang into it as men, as younger men, and that's fine. We're used to that, say, in sport. But we need to acknowledge at this stage, we need recovery. Doesn't mean to say we can't go full hog into things again. But we also need to defend our boundaries. It's possible that we're giving so much and giving all of our care, but we can just put up our hands and say, look, hold on a second, I can only do this for now. Try to reduce your burden. Share responsibility. Now you can do this from a management point of view, from almost a bossing point of view, or an authoritarian point of view if you want, but share it out. Delegate tasks. Again, being the boss in that way, you can dictate, if you wish, who gets to do what. You can use the language in any way you wish to say, you're good at this, I'm not good at this, or look, I'm just taking a break here, or whatever else. Try to monitor your fatigue. Look, you don't have to tell anybody that you're doing this. You don't even have to comment to me in this video with regard to how you're doing it. But you can certainly make sure that you're monitoring it for yourself and to track your energy. At the end of the day, it's your energy, you will feel it first. You will feel the depletion of it first. Notice patterns up and down, in and out. What is going well for you? What happens if you delegate in this way, if you manage in this way, if you take reduction of burdens in this way? What will happen? Strengthen friendships by calling people regularly. Look, how many people actually use their phone for calling anymore, or even knock on somebody's door? If you do that, you're going to give benefits to yourself. Texting, a bit impersonal. Think about it when you were younger. Come on. Also, meet intentionally. Like, why are you meeting? You mean just to say, hey, catch up? Come on. Intentionally. Go to a TV station place called a pub and watch the TV and watch the game. Have a chat, have a conversation, have a few words, and then by and by, you can offload yourself. Try to build family contact. Create rituals. What about shared meals? We had them when we were younger. The phones, the screens, the lack of concentration, the lack of interest towards others. Why don't we bring all of that back? Why can't we just spend a few minutes? It only takes a few minutes to eat. If you're getting something from this video, please like it. Please comment good or bad, or any questions, any suggestions, and I'd certainly produce more content with regard to the research. If you subscribe, that will be welcome. Okay, let's look at developing your hobbies as well, because if we learn new skills whilst we're developing our hobbies, or enrich old skills, we're getting more activity going. It's distracting us from the caregiving that we're giving in the first place, distracting us from all of the time, all of the energy, all of the resources that we're putting to other people. Try to recharge mentally, and that's what hobbies allow us to do. They create this enjoyment for us so that we can feel much better. We can feel much more in control, at least within our hobbies. Maybe something that we were doing when we were young. Reduce uncertainty by focusing on facts. Often we can get stuck into something, and so much so that it becomes personalized, subjective. But if we look at the facts of things, we can then pull ourselves away and then start afresh the brand new day. Try to make plans. We will need time for ourselves. We will need time for our extra bit of energy that we've left aside, because we need to do that. We need time to enjoy and to plan and do other things in our own parts of our own lives. And control the basics. All you can do is control what's controllable. You can seek support. It's out there. Don't be afraid to ask. That's not a weakness, that's a strength. So use services out there. There's lots of free services or people training in services that will need to actually spend time, spend their resources, spend their energy on the likes of you. Look for them. That, my friend, is what Google is for. Try to protect your relationships, those relationships that are supporting you, but also ones that you need to communicate with regularly. And be honest in your communication. In doing so, you're enabling an enrichment of the relationships, and you'll need those relationships in other parts of your lives and maybe further down the line. Try to create peace and practice gratitude. In doing so, you're slowing down intentionally, and that allows you then to stop and think, stop and smell the roses, and reflect daily. So remember the Italian study? It found that something important was social support, and this reduced the damage caused by burden. The Hong Kong study found that family, friends, and peace of mind and hobbies protect our mental health. My takeaway is that, look, more than half of those in the Italian study had poor mental health because they were overextending themselves with regard to caring for others. Who said men can't care? Of course we are. We're doing that. But you need to protect yourself. You need to be wary that down the line is loneliness, down the line is further burdens. So the strongest thing is to ask, to be open to support, and to know that there's support there.
Thanks for watching. Please like this video. If you subscribe, comment to say that you have, and we'll look after you.